All right, boys, we are back, and it's time to head into the Year 3 draft with your Ottawa Senators. But before we get started, I'd just like to let you guys know that this video may be a little bit shorter than normal, just because this is not a live commentary. I'm doing a post-commentary right here. I came down yesterday to do the GM mode commentary. I got it up, but before I was able to render it, my computer crashed, so I lost the audio. So I have to come back right now and redo it for you guys. I'm going to have to edit it all together. That's okay. I just like to let you know that this video may seem a little bit different. I've already gone ahead with the draft. I already know what I did, so I'll try to edit it all together for you guys, just because a lot happened in this year's draft, and it's not like I can just skip over it. I need to show you exactly what I did, right? So now that we've taken care of that, let's get into the video here. And we're at the draft, and I'm just showing you guys the first 3 years here in Ottawa. Year number 1, a first-round exit. Year number 2, a second-round exit with an embarrassing Game 6. And this year, you know, I felt like we had a better year. I did. I feel like next year, if we kept the same core together, we would be a better team, right? But to be kicked out in the second round again, after getting kicked out in the second round last year, I knew the analysts were going to have a problem with that and be calling for some changes, which is why in the last video, I gave you guys a vote to vote on, and I said that this vote was going to weigh very heavily on my decisions, and it's going to. Well, it did. Okay, it did. Basically, this is what the vote looked like. You had 4 different options, the first one being, what should we do? The first one being nothing. We should draft, we should sign, we should improve through free agency and give this core the chance. That's what I would like to do with this team, but again, I have to answer to the analyst. The next one, blow up the team. Basically, draft picks and prospects are the priority. Anyone over 25 years old can go. We can pull a Boston Bruins, and yes, we'll get to that in another video, my God. Next, we can improve the roster right now, basically by using draft picks and prospects and roster players that we don't want to acquire roster players that we do want, that have good age to them, that can be a part of the core, such as Hampus Lindholm, Andre Burakovsky, etc., right? So we could go after that or other. And it seems like it was a unanimous decision to go for improve the roster right now, using draft picks and prospects to acquire young, talented NHL players. All right, so that's what we will do, okay? Now, before we get to the draft, I have some comments that I wanted to read out. First one, Johnny, in my opinion, you should go after Hampus Lindholm. He's a solid defenseman, and with already great defensive stats in the regular season, why not make it better? You probably have to give up Ryan and a prospect, but you get a defenseman that's a super sweet and left-handed, a perfect top pairing. I'd absolutely agree with that. If we could stick Lindholm alongside of Erik Karlsson with Mackenzie Savard coming up in the system, you're starting to build the team from the back end. Remember, Karlsson's only 27 years old, so 3 or 4 years for Mackenzie Savard. Hampus Lindholm is ready right now. Karlsson will be 30, 31 when this team is really ready. You know what I mean? Now, that's looking a little bit down the line. I still want to come back for next year, but building the team from the back out with young talent such as Lindholm, that would definitely help us out in the future. Next comment, draft General Zod, or otherwise he'll come back to bite you and the Senators in the ass. Now, this comment actually had a few dislikes. Well, yeah, 15 to 12. So, you know, I'm just going to say this right now. With the vote saying that I should be going after roster players, I don't think General Zod or Captain America are going to pan out for the Ottawa Senators this year, all right? You guys have voted prospects and draft picks. They're not the priority right now, so I'm sorry, General Zod. It's just not in the works, all right? And last but not least, look at this from Evgeny Dadonov. I think you need to keep Bobby Ryan. He's a great first-line right wing. I don't think you need Taylor Hall. Well, I don't think Taylor Hall is a good fit on your team, Johnny. You made that trade to get him just because the fans wanted it, and it did not work out. Trade Hall for Hampus Lindholm and play Evgeny Dadonov this year on the second or third line. Well, Dadonov, I'd love to have you in the top 9 this year if you'd actually help out our team, right? But I think he's still 78 overall, so we don't know what this guy is going to become just yet. I'm hoping that, right? But we just don't know. So a lot of people saying that we need to improve our roster, but the ideas of trading away Bobby Ryan, Taylor Hall, maybe some older players, that's still there. And I can understand that. They're what, 89 overall and only getting like 20-goal seasons. Taylor Hall didn't get a single goal in the playoffs, all right? So you guys want changes, we can have changes. So I'm going to edit this up. Let's jump to the draft. Here we go. The Year 3 NHL entry draft, round number 1. Your top 5 teams include Buffalo, Calgary, Carolina, Anaheim, and Colorado. So I just want you guys to know, brace yourselves, because if you think the Boston Bruins had a big draft day, just wait till you see what GM Superbman did with the Ottawa Senators. It's the kind of day where you either love it or you absolutely hate it. There's no in-between ground, all right? So before I show you the moves that I made, during the video, I was saying that we will make some moves during the draft period, but because we're going to end the video at free agency, I wouldn't be opposed to making more trades once we see what's available, all right? So the trades that I'm showing you right now, don't go crazy. Wait to the end of the video because more moves are still to come, all right? For the trades that I made in the draft here, I had a specific plan, idea that I wanted to implement, but we're not done, all right? So wait to the end of the video before you blow up and criticize. So here we go. Let's start it up, the Year 3 NHL entry draft. Now, the first player that I wanted to go after was to help out our offensive situation, and that would be Jaden Schwartz, 24 years old, left wing, 86 overall, but he's still got his 4 Green Star potential. And I'm thinking that he's 1 or 2 years away from finally getting that boost. If he can get up to an 88, 89 overall, I'm happy with that, right? His shooting category is nice. If that jumps up, you may see a 90 or 2 in there. Puck skills is at 89. Offensive awareness, 89. I mean, that's just as good as Taylor Hall or Bobby Ryan. Poise is a little low, but that's okay. And his defensive awareness is at 86. So this guy could be a potential first-line left wing for us in the future, right? Now, here's where it gets a little crazy, boys. The player that I traded for Jaden Schwartz is Bobby Ryan. That's right. I know. Let the hate come in. Bobby Ryan's 30 years old. Jaden Schwartz is 24 years old. Bobby Ryan's passing and offensive awareness were very similar to Jaden Schwartz. The only reason he's got the higher overall is his body checking category, all right? So I wanted to trade away Bobby Ryan for Jaden Schwartz and also pick up their 2nd and 3rd overall picks. Now, I know the vote said I'm not supposed to be going after draft picks and prospects, right? But just wait. I had a plan. This is a multi-step process here. All right. So Bobby Ryan, a 7th and a 6th for Jaden Schwartz, a 2nd and a 3rd. It goes through. So let's move on. The next trade, I had to do it, boys. I suggested it in the last video. Hampus Lindholm. I already showed you his stats. 90 overall, left-handed defenseman. Perfect to play alongside of Erik Karlsson. All right. And the players that I was trading back, we'll do this one at a time. First, Mark Methot, $5 million. He's 32 years old. He's got four White Star potential. Yeah, 4 White Star potential. So he's not dropping. But you know what? If we get Lindholm, there's Karlsson, then you got CC and Weirkoch. I'm not going to pay $5 million for another 3 years for a top 6 defenseman, right? So they want Mark Methot to improve their D to replace Hampus Lindholm. All right, so there you go. Mark Methot. Here comes the big one, boys. You're not going to like it. The left wing, Taylor Hall. That's right. Trade away Bobby Ryan and Taylor Hall. I also rounded it out with 2/4 and a fifth for Hampus Lindholm, all right? Taylor Hall just didn't get it done. We're building the team from the back out. So there you go. It went through, all right? So let the hate happen, boys. It doesn't matter. So then after that, we went ahead and we drafted. You can see Steve Rogers, Captain America, went 1st overall to the Buffalo Sabres. Very interesting right there. Shaw went to the Calgary Flames, and Johnny General Zod went to the Carolina Hurricanes. So we got Captain America and General Zod both in the Eastern Conference. And the good news about this is we did not trade away our first rounder. I didn't feel the need to trade away my first rounder this year. So I took it and I drafted Rudy Schaefer, a left wing 20-year-old two-way forward. We have plenty of centers. We just picked up Hampus Lindholm. We have a nice young sniper now in, Jaden Schwartz. Want to get some depth players, maybe a 3rd or 4th liner for us. And he's 20 years old, so he could grow pretty quickly, right? So we move on to there. There's the end of the first round. Now I wanted to make one more trade. This was a 3-step process. I wanted to pick up Andrei Burakovsky from the Washington Capitals. He's still on a minor league deal, all right? I'll show you his individual stats later. I didn't have that clip right here. And going back the other way is going to be LeBlanc, our offensive defenseman that we drafted in year number 1. He's only 3.5 gold star, though, and now that we picked up Hampus Lindholm, I really don't see him having a spot on this team. Then we get into the draft picks. 3 second-round picks and a 3rd-round pick. Now, going back to that first Bobby Ryan trade, the 2 second-round picks, one from this year from our team, one from next year from our team. All right. And then you have St. Louis's second and St. Louis's third. So when you add it all together, basically I traded away Bobby Ryan, LeBlanc, a second from this year and a second from next year for Jaden Schwartz and Andre Burakovsky. When it all comes down to it, that's what I traded. And then I also traded Mathot and Taylor Hall for Hampus Lindholm, all right? So break it apart all you want, boys. Break it apart. But I got younger, Green Star potential snipers, all right? And we improved the 90 overall defenseman, all right? So break it all apart. Now let's get to the re-sign stage. So I'm not going to show you any footage from the re-sign stage, boys. It's kind of all over the place. We'll just get directly to free agency. And just know that we have over $10 million of cap space to spend this year. We saved some money by trading away those big contracts, right? And remember, I still wouldn't mind doing a trade or two. Look at the free agency list that we have, and I'll just talk over this. This is the old footage, so might be a little bit all over the place, right? But unrestricted free agents, Tyler Johnson, Desharnais, Berglund, Boyle, Soderberg, Stafford, Maroon. We can definitely sign some of these guys and make a trade still if one of these guys can replace one of our roster players, right? I think I go and I search goaltender, and I also search restricted free agents because we've never done that. I wouldn't mind doing a restricted free agent signing. Here's the defenseman. We do need a top 6 defenseman. Goaltenders, Brendan Hope's available. Oh my God. Restricted free agents, there we go. See, some young defensemen that we could sign for the top 6. Andre Palat. So, boys, there's plenty of things that we can do. We're going to also then jump to what we have in our roster right here. We'll just go through it. So, our goaltenders, Robin Lehner, Ben Scrivby. Defensively, Carlson, Lindholm, Cody Ceci, Weirkosh, Braun. And that's what I mean about the top 6 defensemen. We could get one of those RFAs. We could trade for another defenseman. That was my thought spot, and we traded him away. But that's what I mean. See, with Lindholm in there, with Weirkosh being pushed down, you're not going to miss my thought at all, right? We can replace him quite easily, and we saved $5 million, which is very nice. You then get to the forward core. Turris, Abinajad, Wingles, Smith, Lazar, Konecki, Graham. All right. I think yeah, these are centers. Never mind. These are the centers. Hang on. Like I said, the footage, this is a post-com. I don't exactly know where I'm headed. Left wingers, Jaden Schwartz, Abdelkader, Burakovsky. So you can see a 25 and a 22-year-old, both with 4 Green Star potential. Our right wingers, Stone. All right. Looks like that's about it. So we could use maybe a forward signing like a Tyler Johnson or a Palat, or we could just go with it because I do think that a lot of our younger players with Green Star potential like Stone, Dadonov, Burakovsky, Schwartz, I think they're going to get a boost this year, right? So boys, let me know what you think. I know this one's going to be crazy, but you guys wanted changes. I gave you changes, but I still wouldn't be opposed to making another trade or two. So go nuts in the comments because next year our goal is to make the playoffs.